Did you know that the average drive from a PGA Tour player this year is 295 yards? Those players certainly hit it a mile, and the average amateur golfer really isn't realistically trying to hit it that far. But there are several different things that we can do to change our setup, just the setup, how we address the golf ball, that's going to help you hit your drives better and get some more yardage off the tee. So in this video, I'm going to be giving 3 main setup adjustments that you can make. The first 2 entirely about just the way that you stand to the ball, talking about the feet. And then the last of these 3 tips is one of the biggest errors that I see so many amateur golfers making. So be sure to stick around for the third one. But first off, let's talk about the stance and how far apart your feet should be when stepping up to a driver. Now, if you think about, hitting a pitching wedge, your feet are maybe a little bit inside of shoulder width, and some people really exaggerate this feel for the driver, and they really step super far outside of their shoulder line, almost to the point where it looks uncomfortable and unathletic. And the wider you are, you may have a slightly more stable base, but you're going to have a lot of trouble rotating your body, and rotation is really key for improving your distance off the tee. So just as a general rule of thumb, your feet should be just outside of your shoulder width. Now, you can play around with it, a few inches inside or outside. Play around with what's most comfortable to you, but always make sure that you're not standing super wide to your drives. It can lead to a lot of inconsistency, and the inhibition of rotation throughout the golf swing is detrimental to hitting the ball further. Now let's continue to talk about how the feet can help us hit the ball a little bit further off the tee with driver. One thing that we can do with the front foot, so for a right-handed golfer, this will be your left foot, is what is referred to as flaring that foot out a little bit. If you think about your feet being entirely parallel to one another at your address position, that is what most amateur golfers do. Those 2 feet are entirely parallel. However, if you take your left foot, again, for a right-handed golfer, if you take that left foot and you point those toes out a little bit closer to the line of your target, so that a line pointing out of your foot would be closer to your target line. That's called flaring your foot out. And what that's going to do, and you can even do this as an exercise sitting in a chair, you can feel when you point those toes out a little bit, it opens up your hips. And when your hips are more opened up, there's a lot more room for rotation, a lot of external factors that go into the rotation of your core and your hips. They're opened up just by simply flaring out that front foot. So try and experiment with that. It's something that, for me, it opened up my hips entirely. And the best news about this is it's something that is so incredibly easy to just implement into your driver swing. So try it out and see if you can feel a positive difference in your ability to rotate the hips through the golf swing. Now, the final point that I have, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, this is such a common error, is having, again, I'm going to use the example for a right-handed golfer, sorry to all my lefties, but as a right-handed golfer, having your shoulder line be pretty neutral to the line of the ground. For the driver, we do not want that to be the case, so try dropping that right shoulder, dropping that trail shoulder down a little bit, bring it down towards the ground. You're going to feel inherently that left shoulder or your lead shoulder going up to the sky just a little bit. This is just going to help you optimize the launch angle at which you hit your golf shot. So with a driver, that's a very low lofted golf club. We need to hit up on that golf club. With a 60-degree wedge, that club has enough loft to get the ball in the air. Keep your shoulders at, do not do this with your shoulders at all. With a driver, there's not a lot of loft, and the furthest drives have a nice high ball flight, and you can only get that by having an upward angle attack. So work on dropping that right shoulder down, kind of feel a crunch in your right side for a right-handed golfer. Feel that crunch happen at the address position, and it's going to really help manifest itself through the impact zone and get that ball up in the air a little bit easier. So now to recap, the 3 setup adjustments that we can make to hit the ball just a little bit further off the tee. 1, get those feet just outside of your shoulder line when stepping up to the ball with driver in hand. Try flaring out that front foot. If you can flare out that front foot a little bit, open up your hip rotation, get some club head speed out of it, it's going to work wonders. And finally, drop that trail shoulder down. Push it into your right side for a right-handed golfer. Having that trail shoulder down and that lead shoulder up is going to be very helpful for your launch angle. thanks for sticking around and watching this video. Hopefully the tips given will help you squeeze a couple extra yards off the tee. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to the Scratch Golf Tips YouTube channel. Thank you all very much for watching. Play well and take care.